Ronan Lily Productions presents Just One Chance by Ikindana. Sweetie Belle laid across the floor of her occasional room in her sister's home, playing oh so cheerfully with Opal and her mouse-shaped toy. It was well past her bedtime, but she wasn't tired at all, with the day lacking of any crusading adventures, which made the rest of the town thankful for some odd reason. Having no chores or homework to do, the school was still under repair after the attempt at earning a chemistry cutie mark after all, and Rarity off on another of her dates meant she didn't have anything to do except wait for her sister's return with Opal. A few minutes passed, and as soon as Opal tired herself out of playing and went to her bed, leaving Sweetie Belle alone, but not for long, the sudden noise of the front door opening caught her attention. Getting up from the floor, the little white unicorn trotted down the stairs to greet her sister. "Welcome back, Rarity. How did your date go?" Sweetie asked, stopping at the last stair when she saw her sister's exhausted expression. "That bad?" Rarity sighed and looked up to her sister while using her magic to close the door behind her. "Not really, to be honest." She smiled tiredly at Sweetie Belle before accepting a gentle nuzzle from her. "Just how to put it? Painfully boring, that's all." "How so?" Sweetie Belle questioned as she followed her sister to the kitchen. "Isn't Trenderhoof recognized as one of the most interesting stallions in Equestria? You even had a shrine of him, remember?" "Yes, I do remember, Sweetie Belle. Thank you for reminding me of that embarrassing experience." "No problem," that filly replied cheerfully. Rarity groaned while preparing herself some tea. "Looks can be deceiving. I should know better than any pony, but I was fooled once again by my heart." Rarity sat on a chair as her sister did the same on the other side of the table, both of them waiting for the tea to be ready. I felt that Trenderhoof was the one for me this time, but he proved to be not." "Is he still chasing after Applejack, even after everything that happened back then?" Rarity shook her head a couple times. "No, he isn't. He just wanted to see if something between us could click together, and from his perspective if a relationship between us could work, but I'm afraid I had to turn down his offer for another date." Sweetie Belle only hummed and returned. Everything started so well. He proved to be the gentle colt the magazines brag about, at least for a while. Rarity sighed again, placing her forehead against the table. Then she showed his true colors and how uncouth he could be. The moment we arrived to a restaurant, he began to act cocky, but not to be the point of being intolerable, mind you, and showed he had few to no manners on the table. She shuddered at the memory, making Sweetie Belle giggle a bit. "Can you believe he talks with chewing his food? Ew!" She shuddered against it in disgust. "Still, that sounds a lot better than most of your dates, sis," Sweetie Belle said with a small smile on her face. Rarity giggled a bit and sat up straight again. "I suppose you're right. but still that was the most unfitting for one that claims to be the pinnacle of what a gentle court should be. Anyways, after that, we had a nice little chat about upcoming projects and a little bit of our personal lives. Rarity sighed at this, and it was when everything turned utterly and completely boring and dull. All he did after that was talk about his awards, his accomplishments, his properties, his sweaters, and so forth, and so forth. Rarity's expression visibly saddened. He never asked me about me or my own achievements, and when I did try to talk, he showed no interest in whatsoever. He even went as far to interrupt me a couple times. Rarity let out a sad sigh, almost as a whimper. He never even mentioned how I looked. I didn't even wear a dress just because he likes casual looks. Rarity. But to his credit, he was like those other stallions that only cared for the fame or reputation that they would get for hitting on with one of the Element's bearers and a personal friend of Princess Twilight Sparkle. He only turned out to be a tiny bit self-centered, that's all. Rarity used her magic to carry the hot tea. Once the pot whistled, serving on the 2 cups, her sister had pulled forward with her own magic. Is it too much to ask for my true Prince Charming, my knight in shining armor, my gallant and refined stallion, that one special sewn pony that I can rely on no matter what, the one that is always there to offer his help, care, and support, the one that will never betray me and put at risk his own safety to rescue me from my dire situations? Rarity said as she stared down in her cup, slowly being filled up with hot tea. The one I can return such same feelings, the one I can trust above all else, and that at the end of the day will be there for me to love, and him to love back. Sweetie Belle said nothing. She only blew over her hot tea as her sister began to ramble about her dreamy stallion. Sweetie Belle smiled behind her cup, knowing who could fit that spot perfectly, even if said who was not a pony himself. After all, it was no secret for anyone who had the blessing of sight to see that tremendously obvious infatuousness the town dragon had for the beautiful seamstress. All but Rarity herself, it seemed. She was true. Some could argue that he was too young, or that it wouldn't work between them, for being of different species, or some other rumors she really didn't like or cared about, but even she knew that if a relationship ever flourished between the two of them, it would be hard, but at the same time they would be happy together. Of that she was certain. She was about to take a sip of her tea when the sound of somebody knocking at the door echoed inside the house establishment, effectively pulling Rarity out of her trance, and with her raised eyebrow. Whoever could that be? And at this hour, no less. Rarity said as she stepped down from her seat and walked towards the front door. Another couple of knocks served to confirm that the pony was behind the door. That some pony was behind that door. "Coming!" Rarity said as she opened the door. "Pardon me, but you don't think it's a little late to—" She began, but stopped when she saw the figure just in front of her. "Spike?" she said, making Sweetie Belle turn her head away from her tea again, and saw that the purple and green dragon was in fact standing outside the door. Though she couldn't quite see his face from her angle, she could notice a strange seriousness about it. Spike, darling, it's well past midnight. Whatever are you doing outside so late?" Rarity asked worriedly. "Did something happen?" "Can I come in?" Spike said in a tone that sent Rarity off balance. She never heard her dragon friend sound so serious before. "Of course, make yourself at home." "Thanks," Spike said, passing through the door, letting an uncomfortable silence fall between them. Sweetie Belle, for her part, was sitting quietly on a seat, watching curiously at the scene before her while sipping some of her tea. Rarity closed the door with her magic. "Now can you tell me what's the matter, Spiky Wikey?" she asked. the slightly taller purple dragon, a change that was most happily welcomed. It occurred a few weeks after the defeat of Tirek. At first, every pony thought he was holding again. Oh, poor Spike. He was the most scared of them all. But after a quick letter to Princess Celestia and her almost immediate answer, everything settled down. There was nothing to worry about. Spike now stood at the very same eye level as a normal pony. He also was a bit stronger. The arms and legs were now longer, and he could run much faster, though his voice and appearance. The last she was certainly thankful for. Her memories of Garmisch Brute he had become because of his greed were burning into her brain. Remained looking at the same for some reason. Spike? Rarity repeated a few seconds later, of Spike not answering her question. He just stood there, looking at the ground. Spike, what's the matter? I love you. Sweetie Belle spewed the tea she was drinking, coughed a few times, and looked with supreme disbelief at the dragon, her jaw almost hitting the table and eyes as big as dining plates. Rarity was just speechless. Her brain seemed to be paralyzed, but by surprise. Taken aback by his statement. I love you, Spike repeated, this time raising his head to see her directly at the eye. Rarity took a step back. His face showed a determination she had never seen before in her life. If anything, it scared her a bit to see him like that. One of his fingers stopping her from speaking any further. She looked down at the finger pressed against her lips, then in front of her to meet his eyes, repeating the process for a few times. Her surprise is now mixed with confusion. Don't say anything, just listen, all right? Rarity nodded slowly. A few seconds later, he removed his finger. He took a big deep breath and continued. I love you. And I know it's not secret to, well, any pony, really. And I do, and I know it's silly that I've come this late and at this time to say it, but I finally worked up the courage to do it. Just knew that would be my only chance to do it before cowering again. Spike sighed, turning to his left to see his reflection in one of the many mirrors of a working place. I know I'm different, dragon. I know I'm not the most handsome guy out there. I'm neither the most mature, influential, powerful, rich, or anything really. And I'm far from perfect. I've even further of being what you wish on a romantic partner. I know that it's almost silly. No, it is silly that I got a crush on you. The very first moment I saw you, and that it never faded away, even when at times I myself wondered, when would it end? He said it to his own reflection while Rarity looked at him, angrily wondering if she should say something, putting himself down the way he was, not to mention how he described his crush for her. Somehow she felt a bit of pain in her heart just by hearing him say that, or keep her promise to listen until he was done. She chose the later, but just barely. But it never went away, and eventually turned into love. Or at least, that's how I feel. It hurts when I see you, sad when you cry. It hurts when you return home after another awful date. It pains me to be away from you. Spike sighed. I asked Cadance what love feels like. She told me that it feels different for everyone. Some feel sad. Some feel pain. Some feel angry. Some feel lonely. But at the end of the day, only you know if it is real or not. He turned to face her again. And now, I know what I feel for you is real, Rarity. Spike. Let me finish, he said, raising one of his claws. But I know you don't feel the same. Hey, probably will never feel the same. Believe me, I know. I understand now. I know I can never be the stallion you want. I know I can't give you what you deserve. I know a relationship between us would be problematic. To say that, the least, I mean, how could it even work, right? Dragon and a pony together? That's ridiculous. Laughable, even. It has never happened before. I even triple-checked the Canterlot records last month. Spike turned the mirror again, ignoring the hurt expression Rarity was giving. He said, placing a claw over his heart. I know I don't stand a chance to win your heart, he said, placing a claw over where his heart was. Spike, she said, her voice cracked barely, louder than a whisper. That's why what I'm about to say is the most greedy and selfish thing I will ever say or do in my life. He turned around again to her face. Grant me one chance, just one chance, to make my dream a reality. One date. That's all I ask you. And I mean you and me on a real date, just the two of us together. Rarity was about to say something, but he raised a claw again, signaling her to say nothing yet. It sounds hypocritical. You know, after what I said, and I'm not going to say something like, just give me a chance to show you I'm a perfect guy for you. Because that would be a completely lie for the both of us. This is only to fulfill my own selfish desire. If only ask for you to comply and grant me this wish, to let me fulfill my deepest fantasy, to take you out on a date. Simple as that. No rules, no compromises, no nothing, just a date I always wished to give you. Spike said while looking directly into her eyes, showing her just how much he could rival Applejack at the element of honesty right then and there. After that, we can forget it ever happened. We can go back to being just friends, and I will forget my feelings for you. Everything will be back to how it is, even if you say no. Right now, just forget this ever happened, just please, he said pleadingly as he kneeled in front of her, taking her left forehoof in between his claws. Rarity, Belle, will you grant me, Spike the dragon, the immense honor of taking you out on the date tomorrow night? Rarity was beyond stunned, if not for the feelings of Spike's scales against her hoof and the strange pain inside her. She would believe this was just a really bad dream, maybe even a nightmare, but this was really real. She looked down at the dragon and saw a storm of emotions in his eyes. And the way he was looking, sweet Celestia, almost broke her heart to see just how really he was to be let down. As if she knew it would be the obvious answer. Finally, after several seconds of torturing silence, she spoke. Yes, she said, barely smiling at the dragon, and looked back at her, his face clearing, showing he didn't expect the answer. Yes. I would be delighted to go on a date with you, Spike the dragon. The dragon let go of her hoof and slowly go back up, his expression slowly morphing from shocked to disbelief to happy. His entire face turned redder than Big Mac's coat. Even his entire body trembled with happiness. Well, all right then. I think I should go now. Yeah, so I'll pick you up at 6 o'clock tomorrow. I mean, today, because you know it's past midnight and right? You don't need to wear anything fancy, but you don't look stunning or anything since you are beautiful already. So yeah, bye. Spike said as he retreated back to the door, opening it and walking past it slowly, shutting it a bit louder than intended as his departure. Rarity stood there, seemingly rooted to a spot-like silence, dealing with a storm inside her head. Her mind was such a strange mess of thoughts and questions that she did the first thing her brain told her to, walk to a room and lock herself inside for a few hours. That was part 1 of Just One Chance. Written by Ekundemana. Sorry, every pony. I know this is part 1, so I hope that next part is better. Sorry, every pony, for messing up the writer who wrote Just One Chance. I know my recording's not that good. This is my first recording, and I'm going to try to use my mom's special recording equipment later on, so don't give up on me because I want to make this a full-time thing, and I'm working on it. The next video is going to be much better, promise me. I'm going to get closer to the pad, which I'm using to record this, and I hope you enjoyed this fanfiction. Ekudemana, sorry about mispronouncing your, whatever it is, your username, sorry, again. But I would just like to say that, I'm going to be doing part 2 of this story, because it's a really good story. Ekudama, way to go. If you end this with Broken Heart from Spike, I will hunt you down, because I think this couple should go canon. Anyways, so check out for part 2, which I'm actually going to start recording now. I just need to take a break and get some food and some water. I got Pepsi! Anyways, and then I'm going to start on part 2. Plus I thought other ponies would probably like to have it in 2 parts, so yeah. I'm really excited, so look out for part 2. Be lovely to each other. Subscribe, like, comment, and